This is Italy, a country on the verge of disappearing from the world map. What you're seeing is a once thriving village that now stands completely deserted. Shockingly, there are around 6,000 other villages across Italy that have met the same fate in recent years. This desolation has even reached Italy's educational institutions. The renowned 300-year-old campus school, where hundreds of thousands of children once studied, is now empty. Teachers are losing their jobs because there are simply no students left to teach. In 2015, Italy's health minister declared the country to be dying. The root cause? A severe decline in birth rates. Italy's total fertility rate has hit its lowest point in the past 50 years. Predictions suggest that the country's population will continue to plummet in the coming years. The Italy that was once celebrated across Europe for its large, close-knit families is now teetering on the brink of an economic dark age. Real estate is expected to collapse as the population dwindles, plunging the nation into an unprecedented crisis. The signs are undeniable. Italy is facing a demographic disaster that could reshape its future in ways we can hardly imagine. The urgency of the situation cannot be overstated. Italy needs a solution, and it needs it fast. The country faces a future without young people to join the army or labor to power its factories and industries. Experts predict that Italy's entire economy could collapse within the next decade. The average age in Italy today is 48, in stark contrast to Pakistan's 21 and India's 32 approximately. A significant 24% of Italy's population is over 65, and this number is steadily increasing. But how did Italy reach this stage? A century ago, Italy's birth rate was 5.2 children per woman, and it remained above 2 until the 1970s. The last 50 years, however, have seen a dramatic decline. This trend isn't limited to Italy. Similar patterns are observed in other European countries and Japan. Several factors contributed to Italy's population decline. Historically, Italy was an agricultural country where most people were farmers. For farmers, having many children was essential because they needed helpers. The more children they had, the more hands they had to work the land, thus increasing their earnings. With the advent of industrialization, the salary system changed this dynamic. 2 children could now earn as much as 5 children did previously. Following World War II, Italy introduced a social welfare system. Under this system, the state took on the responsibility of children's education, health, and overall welfare, reducing the parents' burden and incentive to have more children. Consequently, since the 1950s, Italy's birth rate has been in steady decline. The declining fertility rate isn't unique to Italy, it's a global trend observed since the 1980s, with the exception of Africa. However, Italy's situation is particularly acute due to specific governmental policies that discourage young people from having children. One such policy is the concept of blank resignation, which requires every woman to sign a resignation letter before starting a job in some companies. This policy allows companies to fire female employees as soon as they become pregnant, without any notice or reason. In a country where many women are working into their 40s, such a policy creates a significant disincentive for starting a family. Consequently, Italian families tend to delay marriage and childbearing due to job insecurity. Another major factor is Italy's citizenship policy. Unlike many other European countries and the United States, Italy does not grant automatic citizenship to children born on its soil if their parents are non-Italians. This lack of birthright citizenship prompts many immigrants to move to Northern Europe, where their children can obtain nationality more easily. For a country already facing a youth shortage, the loss of potential young citizens exacerbates the problem. Recognizing the severity of the situation, the Italian government is now contemplating changes to these laws. If Italy continues to lose both its native young population and potential young immigrants, the country will be left with an aging, retired population and a dwindling workforce, posing a severe threat to its future economic stability. A significant factor contributing to Italy's population crisis is its job market. According to OECD research, 43% of Italians aged 18 to 34 hold non-permanent jobs. This job insecurity is a result of 3 recessions in the last decade, leading to a national debt to GDP ratio of 145%. This means that for every euro earned, Italy must borrow an additional 1.45 euros to cover its expenses. The economic situation in Italy has deteriorated to the point where even established businesses struggle. For instance, Domino's Pizza, which originated in Italy, has closed all its stores due to a lack of customers. In such an environment, young people find it challenging to secure stable employment, further exacerbating the country's demographic issues. Sweden pioneered parental leave policies by implementing a law in 1974 that granted both parents 16 months of paid leave following the birth of a child. This progressive approach has effectively stabilized Sweden's birth rate. Italy, on the other hand, needs to consider similar measures, including reforming its stringent immigration policies and protecting female employees from practices like blank resignation. Without these changes, Italy's birth rate is unlikely to reach the replacement level of 2.1 in the next 5 years. Contrary to popular belief, we are not heading towards a population explosion. Despite predictions that the global population would skyrocket to 16 billion in the next century, the reality has been the opposite. Since 1980, birth rates have been declining worldwide, including in countries like Pakistan and India. Pakistan's birth rate dropped from 6.3 in 1990 to 3.4 today. The global population is expected to peak in the next 20 years and then decline after 2050. This trend is particularly pronounced in countries like Japan, Italy, the United States, the UK, France, and Germany. The concept of a population explosion warrants discussion. What are your thoughts on this phenomenon? Is it beneficial or detrimental? Share your opinions in the comments below. Thank you for engaging with this topic. Join Truth Revealed, stay updated and intrigued.